PublicIntegrity.org has an incredible story about open corruption by the Trump team. They explain here, a new Texas nonprofit led by Donald Trump's sons is offering access to the freshly minted president during inauguration weekend, all in exchange for $1 million donations to unnamed conservation charities, according to interviews and documents reviewed by the Center for Public Integrity. And the donors' identities may never be known. Prospective $1 million donors to the opening day 2017 event receive a private reception and photo opportunity for 16 guests with President Donald J. Trump, a multi-day hunting and or fishing excursion for 4 guests with Donald Trump Jr. and or Eric Trump and team, as well as tickets to other events and autographed guitars by an opening day 2017 performer. Okay, so this is the clearest example I've ever seen of selling access. They're selling access to President-elect Donald Trump. Now, why would they do that? It's simple. For the exact same reason why we all went after the Clinton Foundation. For corrupt reasons. For pay-to-play reasons. You want to give me $1 million? You want to give me a few $1 million for inauguration? Well, here's the deal. We're going to make sure that we give it to conservation charities, unnamed again, and then you can spend time with President-elect Donald Trump, and you can spend time with the kids, Eric and Fuckface, and don't worry, there's no funny business going on here. So the result of that is, when this happens, and then Donald Trump is president of the United States, he's going to get a call from whoever those donors were. When he gets that call, he's going to take that call. When the person on the other end of the line goes, remember that thing that we spoke about when we were out fishing? I think I need you to act on that. And, you know, it might come in the form of some sort of corporate welfare check, subsidy, giant tax break, piece of legislation that allows them to continue doing tax dodging and doing corporate tax avoidance. It can come in the form of bailout. It can come in the form of any of a number of things. Deregulation, where the government ends up doing favors for the people who give money to them. And Donald Trump, one of the things he ran on was, we have to stop that. We got to drain the swamp. I'm against the lobbyists. I still remember clearly during the debates when he was ranting against Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio and the other idiots, and he was basically saying, what are you a puppet? I think these guys are puppets to their donors. It's sad. And there was one time when the Republican establishment stacked the audience against Trump, and people were cheering for Jeb when he went after Trump, and Trump was like, that's all his donors out there. And I was like, damn, he's fucking him up. And he was able to blow up the whole debate and blow up the whole system simply by pointing out the reality that all those people are puppets to corporations and billionaires. Well, now that Donald Trump's in power, he's the exact same thing. I mean, the guy's already appointed, or he's picked 2 different people from Goldman Sachs for his administration. That ain't draining the swamp. That is the swamp. That's a new swamp on the White House lawn. That's draining the swamp in your mouth. So now it's at the point where, I mean, this is Clinton Foundation level shit. Remember, what was the response from partisan Democrats when we said, hey man, that Clinton Foundation, that is pay-to-play corruption, and that's a problem, and you can't have that? What was the response? The response was, oh, so I guess you're against charity, aren't you? No. Oh, I guess you're saying that the Clinton Foundation has done no good around the world? I guess that's what you're saying. No. The argument is, they're taking money from, various corporate leaders, billionaires, foreign governments, and then, sure, you might put that money to some good use. Of course, nobody's arguing against that. But why do you have a foundation? Why do you have a charity? Former president of the United States and somebody who wants to be the next president of the United States. It's because you are getting those connections ready. So you can fundraise, and then when you get in office, you return all the favors for the people who gave you the money. And we've seen it in real time. I mean, for example, the government of Qatar giving Bill Clinton $1 million for his birthday for the Clinton Foundation. And then lo and behold, look at that, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton approved a weapons deal for Qatar. So that was the issue. Now, he's going to do the exact same fucking thing here, Donald Trump and his dumbass sons. They're going to do the exact same thing. Here's a fishing trip. Here's a hunting trip. Thank you for a couple $1 million. You gave this just out of the kindness of your heart, right? I mean, there's no foul play going on here. And then, of course, later on, you do favors for them. This story highlights the exact problem that's wrong in our politics. There's a reason why Congress has a fucking 9% approval rating, and on a good day, it's like 21%. It's because everybody knows they're not representing them. Everybody knows they're representing the donors. And they're all guilty of it, man. They're all guilty of it. I mean, maybe there's a handful of good politicians who somehow have managed to maintain their integrity. But for most of those politicians, they could even be a good person, and they end up acting like this, and they end up acting in a bad way because it's the incentive structure of the system, and it's human nature. So you really need to be a special person to override it, somebody like Bernie Sanders, for example. But this is, and to be fair and be nonpartisan here, Ron Paul was able to override it too. He had an actual philosophy, and he stuck by that philosophy, whether or not I agree with it. So what we see here is the cancer, the virus within our system. And Trump is not the solution to it. Trump is just another example of it. And if anything, he might be putting it into hyperdrive. I mean, his rhetoric on the campaign trail, I think in his mind, he thinks that gives me cover to do whatever I want. I was so anti-establishment on the campaign trail in my rhetoric that now I can act like the most establishment president ever, and it doesn't matter because my followers are only going to listen to the rhetoric. They're going to defend me no matter what. So that's why you get multiple Goldman Sachs picks. That's why you get the CEO of ExxonMobil he picks for Secretary of State. He picks neocon John Bolton for Deputy Secretary of State, the number 2 at the State Department, and that guy's a neocon who's for every war, when Trump at times on the campaign trail said he was against war. You get a fast food CEO for Labor Secretary. The guy he picked for Labor Secretary is anti-labor. I'm not kidding. He said, I want to use automation as opposed to the workers. Let's go in the direction of automation. What? He's against the minimum wage. I mean, the list goes on and on. This guy's Ayn Rand's wet dream. In fact, he wrote a book where he basically outlines his philosophy and what it is on economics, and it's basically right in line with Ayn Rand. So it's really bad. And everybody needs to keep in mind, yet again, he's not draining the swamp. He's building a brand new swamp, and I don't even think his ardent followers are going to look at it and go, yeah, that's bad. Let's turn against him. I think they'll do exactly what they did under Reagan and do exactly what they did under George W. Bush and just play defense. And that's a horrific direction for the country.